Stargate Ascension. What is it in a nutshell? This is the process of using visual images through various states of consciousness in order to create an upgraded or reconstructed DNA formation and brain patterning. What is DNA upgrade or reconstruction? Upgrade would be the movement from one DNA configuration to a higher DNA configuration that is able to receive, hold, and radiate more light. Reconstruction is the DNA formation moving back to an original or organic state. A configuration that once was and has since been changed, lost, reduced, altered, or infiltrated, tampered with. How can a visual image create this DNA change? DNA responds to frequency. Visual images create frequency. Why do you refer to this as a Stargate? That is exactly what it is. A gateway or portal that takes one from one place to another, across time, space, or both, in an instant. How is the DNA upgrade taking one from one place to another in an instant? Through what you would know as memory. If one imagines a car engine running on 3 cylinders, the Stargate Ascension process would upgrade that car engine to running on 9 cylinders instead of 3. How does the analogy of a car engine relate to a Stargate? Faster travel or transportation. In what way is Stargate Ascension related to travel or transportation? The ability to access many dimensions simultaneously, instead of one dimension, is the true form of travel or transportation, movement, momentum. So are we actually moving somewhere in Stargate Ascension? I thought you said we were not going anywhere. You would be moving through time, therefore movement. You are not going anywhere when it comes to location in space. So how are we moving through time by accessing this Stargate? By accessing many dimensions simultaneously. Dimensions are timelines. So are you saying that Stargate Ascension is the same thing as time travel? Yes and no. Time travel is moving through time without necessarily ascending through time. Stargate Ascension is time travel whilst ascending. If other dimensions are timelines, then how can you move through time without ascending? By jumping timelines while staying at the same dimensional level. This would be seen as a sideways move rather than an upwards move if one visualizes the time matrix as a 2-dimensional cross configuration. So does this suggest that timelines and dimensions are actually 2 different things? No. It suggests that dimensions can be accessed at the same level, meaning there are multiple, infinite actually, dimensions of time that hold the same level of light quotient or the same mathematical equation or geometric pattern. Yet they are different in their expression. This would equate to 2 versions of yourself, One has red hair, the other has blonde hair, to use a simplified example. So dimensions sit side by side. Is this what you are saying? Yes. Although that is simply a model for your third-dimensional perception, so you may process this. In truth, dimensions are superimposed upon one another, or more accurately, nested inside one another, in a configuration that may be best expressed as fractality. So in Stargate Ascension, are we moving upwards? If so, what do the different versions of ourselves look like? You would indeed be moving upwards within this model we present, remembering in truth that these dimensions that are above yours are nested fractally inside one another. The different versions may be perceived as the alternate self above, glowing with light or having wings. Again, a most simplified example. If the equal level dimensions and the higher dimensions are all nested inside one another, then how can we tell which is which? This question is most difficult to answer in your language, if you will, hence the reason we provide the directional models for you. It is best we say here that the higher dimensions would hold a certain glow, if you will, perhaps like a neon light or extremely brilliant star, in relation to a lesser glow or light in the equal level dimensions. You would therefore follow the light if you were to use this model to move into Stargate Ascension. Is it not true that this light has been infiltrated and that there is a false light? Indeed. However, this is disintegrating fast upon your planet as you reach completion. The true light is clear to see by ascending individuals. How so? The true light has a tone, a vibration, a hum, a tune. It is therefore heard and felt by those with a high enough DNA configuration to hear and feel. What is completion? This is a long and complex subject. To simplify this, we could say that completion is when critical mass for the higher DNA configuration has been reached planetary-wide. Are we close to completion? As of today, the day of this conversation between myself and you, August the 23rd, 2018. You are. Yet time is not linear when it comes to completion. It moves in a cyclical, spiraling formation. So, for example, during sabbats, esbats, mass meditations and astrological alignments, you are closer to completion than you are when you are not in one of these high energy points. Why are we closer at these times? Critical mass is higher. Critical mass is higher. Why? The light is catching. There is amplification. It is caught. Critical mass moves upwards. Expansion of. So are you saying it moves back again, suggesting that there are those who held light and then they lose it afterwards? It is more that they reflect light and then no longer reflect it. This is natural to those just awakening from the amnesiac slumber of the third dimension. It is just like the sun rising and setting. When the sun rises, there is sunlight, and when it sets, there is not sunlight. But the sun rising and setting just occurs over and over again. You are saying we are nearing completion. This suggests that eventually the light that is catching will remain within those individuals. To use your metaphor, there will always be sunlight and the sun will no longer set. Is this correct? To use that metaphor, yes, that is correct. Do you know when that will be? Given the nature of dimensions and time, it is now for many. It is very soon for many. It is a long, long time in the future for many. You choose which perspective of time you hold and exist within. How do we choose? Many ways. One way is that which we speak of, Stargate Ascension. The process of using visual images through various states of consciousness in order to create an upgraded or reconstructed DNA formation and brain patterning. Exactly. So we are back at the beginning of our conversation. Indeed. Have we created a circle? A spiral, actually. How so? Awareness has risen, expanded, more light, more memory, through this conversation. What about those who listen to this conversation? Do they also create the spiral? Yes, indeed they do. Is this conversation between us part of the process of using visual images in order to create upgraded DNA formation? It is. So, our conversation, listening to it, is in itself a trigger to Stargate Ascension? It is, as well as being a Stargate in and of itself. I see. Thank you. You are welcome. We are the white-winged collective consciousness of 9. In this channeled transmission, I enter into an expansive, transformative and activating exploration of interdimensional dialogue, discussing the mechanics of Stargate Ascension. This cutting-edge information holds key codes, maps and coordinates for the starseeds on Earth, as they go through this process of DNA reconstruction and regrouping of cosmic memory themselves. The significant codex of information is downloaded to the reader, as they, through this sacred text, are called by the Dragon, Excalibur, Crystalline Light Geometry, Atlantis, and the Emerald Flame. I am so very pleased to present my new book, The Infinite Helix and the Emerald Flame,